This morning, this is video of a crash near Rio Grande and Mountain in Old Town. You can see the car is on its back. It appears it may have rammed into a fountain. Water is spewing into the streets, and we're working to get more information about what happened. As soon as we get it, we will update you on here and online. And with those storms that Chris was just talking about moving in this morning, police in Rio Rancho are already a step ahead. Yesterday, officers started removing things like flowers and handwritten letters left at Officer Benner's memorial that could be damaged by the rain. They're going to give them to Officer Benner's family. Police plan on building a permanent memorial there soon. An Albuquerque man says he found something in his garage that belonged to Officer Greg Nigel Benner, and he says he never imagined it would mean so much. News 13's Lizzie Mitri explains what he hopes to do with it.
It's got a couple up top, pockets within pockets, all these you could clip stuff onto.
Daniel Sandoval says he bought this backpack last fall from a friend who bought it at a yard sale.
I needed a backpack for hunting, and this one, holds a good amount of items.
But he says he learned this may be much more than a good hunting bag after that friend called him this week about the name written on it.
I actually noticed the name right when I purchased it, but to me it was just a name. I didn't know that there was any significance behind it.
Slightly faded, but you can still make it out. Nigel, as in Greg Nigel Benner.
PD to Officer Greg Nigel Benner.
The Rio Rancho police officer was gunned down while making a traffic stop on Memorial Day. Before his 4 years as a police officer, Benner served 22 years in the Air Force.
Once I found out who it belonged to, then it became a little more important to me.
Sandoval posted pictures of the backpack on social media, hoping to get more information. He says he knows it belonged to Officer Benner, but he's not sure if it's from his time in the military.
If this backpack was actually used while he was in the military, I would think that would have some significant value to either his family members or other officers or military personnel.
In which case, Sandoval would like to return it to Benner's family or auction it off and donate the money to give back to the law enforcement community.
From what I've learned about Officer Benner, he seemed to be a real great person, and an item that was his, just because he's gone, why can't the item actually continue to do good things?
That was Lizzie Mitri reporting. And we reached out to Rio Rancho police in case the family wants the backpack, and we expect to hear back sometime next week. Well, people from all over are honoring Officer Benner. Noah Coughlin is running across the country and says his trek through New Mexico is for the fallen officer. Coughlin was led by a line of APD motorcycle officers through the streets of Albuquerque yesterday with Officer Benner on his mind.
We will never forget what he did for his community. I myself am a police academy graduate from Napa, California, and couldn't think of a better way to honor his memory.
Noah will clock 3,100 miles from New York to San Diego. He started the run for two childhood friends battling a rare brain disease. And tomorrow, people in Rio Rancho will rally together to support the family of fallen Officer Greg Benner. According to the Rio Rancho Observer, the community is planning on gathering at 2 p.m. at the memorial site set up on Pine Tree Road. There, they will have a sit-down to convey the message to the town that they do not stand for these types of actions and they refuse to live their lives being intimidated by criminals. Well, it's official. A felon won an election for a public office that he's not allowed to hold. The Middle Rio Grande Conservancy District says votes from Tuesday's election have all been counted. Matthew Aragon of Los Lunes won the Valencia County seat to be on the board by 36 votes. But Aragon, who was allowed to run for office, can't be sworn in because he was convicted in 1997 of a felony charge of shooting at a car. He was in Santa Fe yesterday asking the governor for a pardon. He has until 1:30 on Monday afternoon, or someone else will have to fill the position. Well, state police staked out a 70-year-old woman's home and arrested her for drug trafficking. People ratted out Roberta Vigil. State police raided her Espanola home last week. Once inside, police say she led them to her stash where they found 8 pounds of heroin. The funeral for the son of Vice President Joe Biden will take place today. Former Delaware Attorney General Beau Biden died at the age of 46 last week. The funeral is expected to take place in the Biden's family's hometown of Wilmington, Delaware. President Obama will be there during the traditional Catholic Mass. Well, some dramatic video, a sinkhole swallowing a police SUV. The road gave way yesterday as an officer was driving through this intersection just south of Denver. The officer was trapped for a few minutes. He crawled through a back window and onto the street to get help. He's expected to be okay. Well, 3 people are in jail this morning after a high-speed chase ended in a crash in Missouri. Officers say they were following this gray car because it was stolen, and it also matched the description of a car used in a home burglary. Police tried pulling the driver over, but they say the car weaved in and out of rush hour traffic. The car ended up crashing into another vehicle. Police say the people inside the car jumped out. They were arrested. No one was hurt in the crash. And a bizarre story out of Miami this morning. A man was seen trying to sell a live shark near a grocery store. The fish was sprawled across the sidewalk and was still flapping around. This video was captured by someone walking by. Now, it's not illegal to sell live sharks in Miami, but you have to have a license to catch one. It's not clear where the man got the shark. Witnesses say he ended up not selling it and dumping it back into the water. Well, prosecutors say they have evidence showing the stepfather of Omari Varela participated in the 9-year-old's death. Omari is the Albuquerque boy kicked to death by his mother in 2013. Now, her husband, Stephen Casals, is facing a new charge of child abuse resulting in death. The indictment does not specify what he did. Omari's mother, Cynthia Varela Casals, is also charged in his death. The man accused of ramming police with a car is still in jail this morning and could be there a while. Officers were trying to take Danon Gabaldon into custody for a similar incident on Memorial Day when he slammed a vehicle into at least 2 patrol units Thursday in southwest Albuquerque, sending 2 officers to the hospital. He now faces a number of charges, including aggravated assault on a police officer. Gabaldon faced a judge yesterday.
Given the extensive criminal history of the pending felony charges, we do feel that Mr. Gabaldon is a danger to the community.
Gabaldon is being held on a $100,000 bond. The officers taken to the hospital were treated and released. We now know the name of the glider pilot who was killed when he crashed south of Santa Fe this week. OMI says the pilot was 72-year-old Joseph Shepard of Illinois. New Mexico State Police found his glider Thursday afternoon. We talked to State Police Search and Rescue about that mission and others as people head outside during the summer months.
The beautiful outdoors that we have in New Mexico. Very alluring, very intriguing, but also very dangerous to people who are not experienced in the outdoors.
Baker, a search and rescue field coordinator, says the most dangerous seasons are spring and fall because the days are so nice and people aren't prepared for temperatures that dip below freezing at night. A woman who failed to board a connecting flight from Atlanta to Albuquerque has been found safe. 23-year-old Anna Giannini was found at the Atlanta Medical Center. She was being treated for undisclosed reasons. Now, she flew to Atlanta from Italy on Sunday. She was reported missing after she failed to arrive on a flight at the Sunport. A possible murder investigation is underway after a body was found in Roswell. The Chavez County Sheriff says they can't yet determine if the person is male or female, but they did find enough evidence to indicate foul play. Now, many people believe it could be the body of 26-year-old Daniel Herrera, who went missing late May, but authorities say they won't know for sure until they conduct an autopsy. Well, stealing from the poor, food pantry prowlers hit some families in need. The Belen Food Pantry is now trying to restock its shelves. The crooks took off with food and a computer system at the local charity. Workers say it might have been an inside job.
They had some knowledge of how things operated, but not a lot. But they knew where the computer was kept, and they knew where the keys to that cabinet were kept.
The computer system cost about $500 and contains personal information of families in need. The food pantry serves more than 500 families a month. Well, someone is letting whoever stole a ghost bike honoring a bicyclist killed by a drunk driver know what they think of them. A sign now sits at Washington and Indian School where Matt Trujillo's ghost bike once sat. It reads, "Whoever stole ghost bike is a jerk. Please put it back." Now, the bike was taken last month. 36-year-old Trujillo was killed in 2011 by a woman who ran a red light while high on meth. Stealing a ghost bike is a crime. Friends and family are now working to replace the bike. We're learning new details about a massive cybersecurity attack on the federal government believed to have originated in China. A federal law enforcement source says the attack began last fall but wasn't discovered until April. Now, experts say the hackers targeted personal records.
What are they doing with this kind of data?
They're collecting huge amounts of data and they're mining it to see if they can find interesting patterns, to get a sense of who their opponents are.
The government has a program called Einstein, which is supposed to help stop security breaches, but it's still being implemented. The death toll in China has risen to nearly 400 people. This comes after a ship capsized this week. Now, several people are still unaccounted for. According to CNN, the body of a 3-year-old girl was discovered overnight. Only 14 people survived the disaster. Now, the ship capsized after a severe storm on Tuesday.